to you tonight and hand over the mic to somebody else, I'd like to ask Laura Burns, APR CPRC, to come up. Laura is the Communications Director at Career Source, Citrus Levy Marion, and the Ocala Chapter President in 2010, as well as the FPRA's current representative on the Universal Accreditation Board.
So we'll go with this. Well, good evening. 10 years ago, I had the privilege of serving as FPRA Ocala Chapter President, the year we renamed our Communicator Awards in honor of our association's co-founder, Wilton F. Marty. And you've heard a lot about him already, and I hope I don't go over too much of it, but bear with me. Talk about serendipity. Buddy Martin, Marty's oldest son, am I getting that right? Okay. Received the very first Wilton F. Martin Communicator of the Year Award in recognition of his stellar efforts to save the iconic Marion Theater. And now, on the 10th anniversary of that very first Marty Award, it seems more than fitting that Buddy Martin joined only two other honorees, Tony James, APR, CPRC, and the late David Cook, and Macklin Walker, his daughter, is here tonight, thank you, in receiving the Ocala Chapter's Lifetime Achievement in Communications Award. You know, Buddy is being recognized tonight not only for following in his father's footsteps, but for an astonishing legacy of excellence in communications. The parallels in careers between Marty and Buddy are uncanny. We already heard this, but I want to go over it again because it's in my script. Marty began his communications career as a reporter for the Ocala Evening Star, and as Heather pointed out, that did become the Ocala Star Banner. And he went on in the 30s to serve as publicity director for Silver Springs Attraction, the birthplace of what is now FPRA. Marty served as the association's first secretary, and believe you me, what that actually meant is that he was the face and the voice of the organization, not just in Florida, but nationwide. And he also served as its second state president. He also worked for a variety of newspapers, including the Tampa Tribune and Bradenton Herald, where we already learned he retired as associate editor in 1973. And along the way, he worked in PR, and of course, after retiring, no such thing as retiring, he did end his career as public information officer for the Manatee County Sheriff's Office. Similarly, Buddy got his start at the Ocala Star Banner as sports editor back in the 1950s. He was actually hired by David Cook at the recommendation of David's wife, the late Miriam, who was Buddy's English teacher at the time. So, again with the serendipity, I think. David, who sadly passed away last August at the age of 93, was in fact the Ocala Chapter's very first Lifetime Achievement in Communications recipient. So Buddy also went on to work for a variety of newspapers, including the St. Petersburg Times, the New York Daily News, the Denver Post. Other stops along the way included Florida Today and as managing editor of the Charlotte Sun, where actually 2 decades earlier I actually worked. I actually worked for Jimmy Cavellis. Anyway, we'll talk later. I have stories to tell you. Well, his staff was actually a finalist for the Pulitzer for its, quote, heroic coverage of Hurricane Charlie, a Category 5 hurricane which hit Charlotte Harbor smack on. And if you know Port Charlotte and Punta Gorda, the Charlotte Sun is right there on harbor, right by the water, and it was devastated. It destroyed the homes of its employees, and the community was left without power, without water, without cell phone service. But these guys, under Buddy's leadership, did not give up, because while the hurricane left just devastation in its wake, it did not leave, it left the community with a really desperate need for information, the need to be filled only by what a local newspaper could deliver. So what did they do? They cobbled together a newspaper and then drove it 2 counties north, 65 miles, to be printed where? At Bradenton Herald, the very newspaper that his father used to work at. So I think serendipity is the theme of these guys. At any rate, as did his father, Buddy continued in the field of communications, owning and producing his own media companies and programs, and as a New York Times best-selling author. So consider, he was an Emmy-winning associate producer of NFL Today on CBS, author of 8 books, including Urban's Way, the official biography of former Florida coach Urban Meyer, and The Boys from Old Florida, Inside Gator Nation. He's also the co-author of autobiographies of Hall of Famers Terry Bradshaw and Dan Eisel, as well as Head Ball Coach, My Life in Football, Amazon's #1 selling football book, co-written with Steve Spurrier, former coach at Florida, South Carolina, Duke, and the NFL's, well, at the time, Washington Redskins, now the Washington football team. I don't know. And I understand Buddy is writing a Spurrier follow-up, is that correct? Which is set to be published, I think, sometime next year. So, and Buddy's good friend and friend of this chapter, and I think friend of Tony James, Tom James, described him as, quote, one of the great American sports writers of our time. Buddy is currently editor and publisher of Gatorbait magazine and owner and host of The Buddy Martin Show, which aired on radio and enjoyed huge success on social media. On hiatus during the pandemic, I understand the program is poised to restart pretty soon, is that true? Well, it is now. You don't have a choice. Buddy's also a regular contributor to Southern Pigskin, the leading name in Southern college football, and founder and president of the Buddy Martin Media, syndicator of the Terry Bradshaw football show, which he has hosted for 4 years. And the list, as they say, goes on. But he also uses his communication platform and skill as civic advocate and activist, as he did a decade ago in spearheading and propelling the successful efforts to save the Marion Theater from the wrecking ball. You know, when Buddy accepted the very first Wilton F. Martin Communicator of the Year award, he did not know. It was a surprise. We got him there, saying, hey, we want you to come to this program to talk about your dad. So he had no idea that he was going to win. And honestly, we had no idea. We didn't plan that. It was just, again, serendipity. We had 4 or 5 nominees for Buddy that year, and we were going down on one side, and then the award was being renamed on the other, and then it all came together like magic. At any rate, in his remarks, Buddy said, quote, I always wanted to win the Pulitzer Prize. This is just as good. Well, I'm not sure it's just as good. We don't have any money. We have a nice trophy. But it is clear that Buddy Martin continues to make a significant contribution to communications in the best tradition of the profession, our chapter, and the association, and a contribution that would surely make his father proud. But don't just take my word for it. There's some folks here that or couldn't be here tonight that have a thing or two they'd like to say on Buddy's behalf.
Hey buddy, it's Tom James. Congratulations on receiving the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Ocala chapter of the FPRA, although nobody around here is the slightest bit surprised that this honor is being bestowed upon you. If you took a list of Buddy Martin achievements and started stacking them up one by one, they'd go all the way to Pluto and back, and there still would be some that are unaccounted for. You've done it all in your career. You have been such a mentor and a role model for so many of us younger generation players in the professional world, whether it be media, TV, radio, print, whatever the case may be. I mean, you've done it all. And I always remember one thing that Buddy told me when I was really young coming up in my TV career. He said, TJ, I got a piece of advice. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Remember to diversify. And I've never forgotten it, and Buddy, you were the shining example of that great advice. I just want to say that I love you, buddy. I'm proud to consider you a great friend, and congratulations. Enjoy this very, very special night.
Buddy, you got a Lifetime Achievement Award in Communications. That doesn't surprise me. You've been communicating with the public for the better part of 50 years. And pal, nobody deserves that award more than you do. Without you, I wouldn't be sitting in the confines of the places I'm sitting today in a radio studio doing radio work. All my success is on the coattails of you, Buddy Martin. Congratulations. You deserve it.
I've known ever since, let's see, December of 2004. Probably when I first met you, I knew that you were special. I knew you were a great friend, and I knew you were very unique because you cared about people. Now people get to care about you, so congratulations on your Lifetime Achievement Award. I did not have a vote, but if I did, I would have voted for you. God bless you.
Hi, this is Steve Spurrier, former head ball coach here at the University of Florida, and I want to congratulate my good friend, my co-writer. He wrote my book. He wrote articles in the newspapers back when I was playing with the San Francisco 49ers in the late 60s. He covered me as a player at Florida in the mid-60s and so forth, and we've had a close association for well over 50 years. Buddy Martin. I want to congratulate Buddy on being awarded the 3rd Lifetime Achievement Award presented by the Ocala chapter of the Florida Public Relations Association. I can't think of anyone more deserving of this honor than Buddy Martin. He has been a true sports writer. He has covered all the events, especially in our state of Florida, and has been a true friend, obviously, to all the Gators for many, many years. So I guess, Buddy, what this means is that you and Joni, the first dinner and the first toast will be to you two when we open Spurrier's Gridiron Grill here in June. So have a wonderful evening at the award ceremony. You're certainly deserving.
Videos for us tonight. Thank you so much. I think that was wonderful. Just love it.
I just hacked his phone. So I'm gonna... That's wrong next time.
I did make a tactical error in not bringing my phone up here so I could take pictures. Would have been so great. Anyway, please join me in welcoming to the stage and recognizing Buddy Martin for his lifetime
Thank you enough. This song, I don't think it's even on this. You need it. I just want to say thank you to everybody tonight, especially Laura. We worked together 10 years ago. We did all the research on my dad and came up with the information about Wilson F. Martin. I am Wilson F. Martin II. Brenda was going to be Wilson F. Martin III. But his mother said, "Nah, I'm not naming it that." So he named it Brendan, a name he can actually use.
Thank you, Mom. Good one, Mom.
So, yeah, it speaks so much to me that this you're doing a dangerous thing, give me a microphone tonight. Because everybody's tired, wants to go home, and the last thing you want to hear about are family stories, what have you. But I got to say two things if I can, please. Aside, congratulations to all you winners tonight. Allison, you like you won the Triple Crown wherever you are. I know. Allison does great stuff. All you folks be congratulated. My dad would be thrilled tonight if he was here. and to see his son's name up there nominated, Bill Martin, my younger brother as well. I want to brag for a second about my family, and I want to tell you about a dream. I'm going to start this time with the most important one. She usually gets mentioned last. People say, you know, marriage is 50-50. I had a guy tell me, a coach, when I got married my first year in Florida, people may tell you marriage is 50-50, but some days it's 80-20. And for my wife, of almost 60 years, will be this in August, it's been pretty much 20-80 for her the whole way. Johnny, I want you to stand up. I love you. Thank you very much. Everybody will tell you, she is a rock. She holds it all together, and she's the reason I was able to survive it. Whatever I've done, if anything, I'm proud of a couple things. She deserves at least 80% of credit for that. So thank you, Johnny. And also tonight, as we talk about this award, my dad, Wilson F. Martin, it just so happens my daughter, and they're all, by the way, journalists, all of them there. One way or the other. Brendan's is with his camera. My two daughters are writers and journalists. They don't practice it now. It's in the blood, and it started with my grandfather, who I never knew. He came to Marion County in the late 1800s from up in Pensacola. He was a writer and a Baptist preacher, circuit riding, and a railroad conductor. And he married a local girl, Mary Evelyn Thomas. And he moved here, and he worked for the Ocala Evening Star, believe that or not. And he died in 1920, way before I was born. I never knew him, but I think about him a lot. William Laban. I think he started this whole thing, you know. And my dad was born after like 1902 or 3. He wound up working for the Ocala Evening Star. And then when I was in college at Florida and got discouraged and thought I was never going to graduate, I came home and went down to the Star Banner and asked Bernard Watts, can you give me a job? I'm tired of this school. And that was my first entry to journalism at age 20. Well, I was the sort of acting sports editor of the Star Banner and later to become that. Why is that important? Well, because what happened after that, this is the message I want to send forth to young people, like my granddaughter sitting over there. I want you to know this. Stella, stand up, Stella. This beautiful little girl. I have some wonderful grandchildren. Run for my family is the most powerful thing I have in my life. But it's important to know this. Tell your children and your grandchildren. I believe in that you grow where you stand. You grow where you're planted. You start there, and I've told Tom James this and many others. You can make it from here. Dream. Go ahead and dream. I had a dream as a 19, 20-year-old that one day I might be able to be a sports editor in New York City. How ridiculous that was, okay? How could a little boy from Ocala, Florida, ever become the sports editor of a paper in New York City? Guess what? It happened. It happened. And it started right here, planted right here. And I go to one particular year in the 60s, 62, 63. Joe, you don't even know this. You've been around for a long time. I advertised in the paper for people to cover high school football. I paid them $5 a game. And 3 guys showed up, 18, 19 years old. One was named Van McKenzie. One was named Jim Huber. And Randy, I know you know these names too. And Scott, you do too. And another guy was Jim Waldron. Later, a guy named Jim Huber joins us. All that talent at the Ocala Star Banner. McKenzie went on to work with me in 3 papers, became a famous sports editor. He won the highest award in sports writing, the Red Smith Award. He passed away about 8 or 9 years ago. He started right there. I remember the night he drove his car to Jasper. It cost him more money in gas than he got for paying for this right to the story. But anyway, so then Jay McKenzie, his brother, became the editor of the paper, remember? Yeah. And so then Jim Huber went on to work in several papers, then went to CNN, and finally he started on TBS, and he covered golf, and he was a well-known sports commentary. And the guy, he died 7, 8 years ago. But anyway, and then Jim Waldron bought the paper, The Voice of South Marion. All that talent at the Ocala Star-Banner, working for $10 a week, started right there. So please, please, believe in your young people, give them a chance to show what they can do, and let them know that it can be done, and you can start it right here in Ocala, Florida. That's the message I want to go forward. So thank you again so much for tonight. Thank you for this honor and mine, my family. I want to mention my family over there, Scott and Dawn Lovell, are here tonight, and they're two of my precious relatives and loved ones. Thank you so much. I look out here and see people, Choni and I and Randy Briggs, all worked at the Marion Theater today, right? When there was no hope, right? There was no hope. Don't ever give up. Believe in your dreams and tell your young people you can do it from right here.
One more time, buddy.
Oh, I'm sorry.